What's going on, everyone? It's an amazing, pretty roller coaster of a day. The Fed came out, released some minutes at 2 o'clock. Very, very bullish news out of the Fed. This morning, basically, the futures were a bit down because there were scares of Russia not actually withdrawing troops. So there was mixed reports out of that. But then towards the close, we closed very bullishly, and basically we closed at the exact same place as we did yesterday. All right, so we're going to go over the SPY, the NASDAQ, the IWM, the 30-year bond, and the crypto market, and the correlation between the crypto markets and what could happen in the overall stock market in conjunction with the crypto market. All right, so without further ado, let's get started with the SPY. All right, so very, very clearly, once again, the SPY closed very bullishly from a candlestick perspective. This level is extremely, extremely important. This resistance level that we closed above on the SPY, because this was the lower wick over here. This was the lower wick over here. This was basically acting as support all throughout here. It had a perfect touch over here as well. And just, it's been a beautiful level of support and resistance. All right, so we closed back above that, so we have to be bullish. All right, the other reason for us to be bullish is the MACD is starting to creep up above. All right, so you can see that it's oversold at the moment. The MACD oversold, yet we're crossing above and closed above major resistance. That is very, very bullish. So that's another reason why we have to be bullish in the overall market, in my opinion. The next thing is the RSI. Obviously, the RSI is a bit flat here because the price action did not really, it didn't really change much. So that's why the RSI is flat and basically didn't change much either. So overall, the SPY looks very, very bullish. So if we can continue on going higher here, if we close above today's high at 448, we can come back and retest 450 very, very easily. So we would come back and retest the same to 450.37 level and 451.16 level. So that would essentially be, this is very, very bullish. So earlier today, we basically almost came back and retested the gap that was made. But that, we still didn't come back and fill that entire gap. But overall, I mean, when you have a setup like this, oversold on the MACD, the RSI looks bullish as well. The momentum is going on higher, and we closed above resistance. With the Fed releasing positive news, you have to go long. All right, so today on Twitter, we bought into March IWM calls. So I said that all three indices look bullish, but then again, it's important to just go light on swings at the moment because, Russia could potentially invade. But at the moment, I think, in my opinion, Putin is doing more so that Russia remains relevant on the international board of, powers, because Russia has been losing a lot of power recently in the past few years due to the rise of America, obviously, and China. So Putin wants to flex his muscles, basically. And I think this is more of a show of showing off his strength more so than actually going to go ahead and go into war. So that's what I personally think is going on. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm right, so that there's no actual war that'll take place. But that is something that I believe is the case. But yeah, so there's that for the SPY. I think that, if we continue going on higher, this is like, if we close above 448 tomorrow, it's a very good chance that we're going to come and retest 451 at least. But this is overall very, very bullish for the SPY. Oh, and let's go ahead and take a look at this. So I added the percent change for the day column here for the SPY, the QQQ, and the IWM. And I added the trades that we were holding for the day and the result of those trades. So we were long Apple, IWM, and Facebook. So Apple and IWM were obviously a 15% stop loss. They were up a few percentage points early in the morning, but they ended up getting stopped out. Facebook was red from the get-go. And my my thoughts for that is essentially big green days do not always result in continued green days. So if you remember on the NASDAQ, one of the reasons why we went long is because we were at one point a few days ago, the NASDAQ was down 4% for the day. And historically, when we fall in that much in one single day, it's impossible. I've never seen it that we wouldn't at least be green for the next day. So that could be the case with big green days, but obviously these aren't huge green days. But the other main thing that did happen in the morning was scares from Russia actually not withdrawing troops. So, you know, it's good to just continue gathering this data. So overall, the MACD for today, the MACD was bullish. The RSI was neutral to bullish. And we closed above resistance. So overall, this was a very bullish day for the SPY once again, with the Fed minutes also being bullish. All right, so there's that for the SPY. Let's go ahead and take a look at the IWM. So the IWM, you can clearly see right now that this MACD, so I started talking about the MACD before the chart. There you go. So the chart, so the MACD, you can see it didn't even become oversold yet. It basically stopped before it started even retesting this yellow trend line. Whereas the SPY, you can see that the SPY MACD is oversold. So the IWM is still not oversold. It stopped without becoming oversold on the MACD, and it started moving on upwards. So that is very, very bullish momentum strength from the MACD on the IWM. That's number one. Number two, the RSI is also basically flat, very similar to the SPY, obviously because we barely closed, you know, above yesterday's close. So that's not showing extreme strength. It's showing basically neutral bullish strength. All right. And then number three, we closed above this very important downtrend line. So we closed above that level, and it's very, very important that we did because we can see that down here, this was a very important trend line from right here. This was very, very important all throughout here. This was basically tested multiple times. And you can see that, you know, once we broke down below, we had a huge red day, and then we came back, retested it, bounced off of it a few times, and fell. So the fact that we came back and closed back above this level, very, very important. Okay. We can see that on February 10th, we periodically went above that level just a bit, but we never closed above it. So this was the first time that we closed above this level. That's very, very important. So again, the IWM looks very, very bullish, and we're currently long the IWM overnight. So this is a very, very bullish day. For tomorrow, the support that needs to hold essentially is going to be 205.30. And then it's really going to be 204.81. So those are going to be the two main levels of support. And then the major level of resistance for tomorrow is going to be the 207.50 level. And then this 207.75 level. If we close above 207.75 tomorrow, that's going to be very, very bullish. I don't think... See, now, at the moment, we don't have a need to really start... If we do, that would be insane. If we start closing back above this uptrend level, that would be ridiculous. But again, you know, it's not needed. This could continue going on higher, but we did basically creep back above the uptrend level today. We closed above it. The uptrend level today was around 206.30, and we closed today at 206.50 or 206.49. So again, we closed above multiple levels of resistance. The MACD looks very bullish. The RSI looks very bullish as well. So overall, everything is bullish. Again, very similar to the SPY. All right, so there's that. Now we have to go ahead and take a look at the large tech stocks, the 30-year bond, and the NASDAQ. All right. Apple, super bullish, very clearly looks very, very bullish. We closed back above this level of support. We've reclaimed basically the bull flag. The MACD looks very, very bullish right now. The RSI looks flat, basically neutral to bullish as well. So, I mean, this looks very, very bullish. Very, very similar to, the other two. And if we can continue going on high, like this is showing a lot of strength. And the Fed minutes that basically everyone was worried about was actually very bullish. So if the NASDAQ essentially doesn't tank because of the tech earnings that are supposed to come out, this should continue going on higher. And when things do look this bullish, Apple clearly looks very bullish. And let's look at the rest of them first. Microsoft, we reclaimed this level of resistance. Obviously, we didn't close above 301 again, right? But we were very low. We filled the gap, and we closed above 297.97. The MACD looks very strong still. It's oversold, and it's about to cross above. And the RSI also looks neutral to bullish as well. It's moving on higher. So Microsoft looks bullish as well. You look at Google. Google also looks very bullish. It came back, retested this downtrend level perfectly, bounced up, and it closed green. So the MACD is also oversold, crossing up above. The RSI is moving upwards as well. Google looks very, very bullish. You look at Amazon. Amazon looks very, very bullish as well. We fell periodically below this 31.27 level, reclaimed it, came back up, closed green above yesterday's high. The MACD is not even crossed above yet. So that is very, very bullish for Amazon, which is pretty weird, because Amazon is showing so much strength, even though Shopify had a really, really bad day. But it just goes to show the strength in Amazon. So that's really, really cool. And the RSI looks very, very bullish as well. Well, not very, very bullish. It's, neutral to bullish. Very similar to everything else. So, I mean, that overall, the large tech stocks, we could take a look at Tesla as well. Tesla doesn't look as cleanly bullish in terms of momentum, right? The yellow MACD line did start moving upwards, though, which is very, very important. So, yes, this blue MACD line is overbought, but this is what needs to happen for the momentums to start breaking up to the upside. And we can see that the RSI is flat. Makes sense because the closes weren't really far off. But this momentum is bullish, which is very, very good. But we did not close above resistance. All right, so that is the only thing here for Tesla. 925.25 is going to be this level of resistance that needs to close above. Overall, the large tech stocks look very, very, very bullish as a whole. All right, so here are the bonds. Technically, I mean, we're closing above support. We're holding support, actually, right? The RSI is somewhat decent, right? And the MACD is technically, like, it's falling lower from yesterday to today, but the price of the bonds are increasing, which is bullish. All right. So, I mean, if this level can hold, we saw that yesterday we were closing outside the lower level of the B band. Unless this level doesn't crack down and really start to flush, I don't think that's going to affect the NASDAQ. Because we did see a huge rally back up from the NASDAQ intraday after the Fed meeting, basically. So, with that bullish news now, I think the bonds should have a bit of a relief rally potentially, and that's really it. We just need to keep monitoring 150.21, and if we start to close, if tomorrow we start to really close very dramatically and start breaking down below 150.21 and hit like 150 and then break 150, then that I mean, we just have to monitor what'll happen with the NASDAQ. I mean, because I've been thinking that a weak 30-year bond is going to really, really affect the NASDAQ. And it has, but it's not giving as clear and definitive of a correlation as I thought it would. So right now, things look decent or bullish on the 30-year bond. All right, so there's that for the bond. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ. All right, so the NASDAQ clearly looks bullish once again. It closed above, it reclaimed basically the bull flag support. It closed back above this very important 38.2% fib at 355.56. So we closed above two levels, and we closed above the 20 exponential moving average. So those are three major levels of resistance that we closed above. We basically closed at, I think the exact, very close. We closed 12 cents below where we closed yesterday. So we're back here. Very, very bullish setup. The MACD has still not crossed above, which is still very bullish. So we reclaimed levels of resistance, and we closed above those levels. And basically, we haven't even crossed above yet on the MACD. So that's very bullish. The RSI, neutral to bullish as well. Overall, the next levels of resistance are going to be 358. And then from 358, we're going to come back and retest these. If we can break above 358, and then, of course, breaking above the psychological 360 level, we're going to come back and retest 362.17 and this 362.72 level. And that is basically going to coincide pretty well with the downtrend from the top of the bull flag that's basically being formed. So that is going to be really, really interesting to see what happens over the next few days into Thursday and Friday for this level here. We can come and retest it. So overall, once again, all three indices look very, very bullish. The SPY, the NASDAQ, IWM, all look very, very bullish. So now to get a better understanding of what is basically going to happen is we should definitely take a look at the crypto market. All right, so Bitcoin is holding this 43,800 level, right? Holding that clearly as support. The MACD is still oversold. It still has room to cross up above, which is very, very bullish, right? And then one of the most bullish things is that the RSI is very sharply falling, even though this isn't this move to the downside does not warrant this sharp of a move in the RSI. So that is very bullish. So overall, as long as 43,800 holds, even 42,800 overnight, as long as those two levels hold, and then into the morning, if we bounce off of 42,500, and then we can come, the main level of resistance that we need to break above is going to be 45,780. If we can break above that level, that'll be very, very bullish for the SPY. And we can see that the lower level of the Bollinger Band is starting to move upwards on Bitcoin, which is also very, very bullish, which is basically showing that the downside potential for Bitcoin is shrinking. So the downside potential over here was 33,000. Now the downside potential is basically 36,000. So as this lower band continues to move upwards, it's very, very bullish. So all in all, this is a pretty bullish setup. Still, we can come back and retest this level of support, this trend line here. But again, that'll basically just be a bullish retest and a move upwards. In my opinion, I still think any of these dips are to be bought on Bitcoin and the overall market. So until we see a clear change in policy and things really, really start to look terrible, that's when our bias is going to change as well. But for now, especially on Bitcoin, these dips are to be bought. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.